Talks between Cuba and the U.S. continue this week as relations begin to thaw out. The discussions have been described by a U.S. representative as productive and collaborative. President Obama's State of the Union address included the importance of working on Cuban and U.S. diplomatic ties. He said that the progress in recent discussions will end a legacy of mistrust in our atmosphere. Obama also urged Congress to work on ending the trade embargo against Cuba. Earlier talks have evolved around migration between the two countries, while future discussions will include human rights and the U.S. stance on the economic embargo. A new statement from Britain's foreign minister warns that fighting the Islamic State may take longer than expected. Foreign Secretary Philip Hammond says that the task will be slow and that 3 to 6 months of fighting the Islamic State is an understatement. Upcoming meetings led by U.S. Secretary John Kerry and Iraqi Prime Minister Haider al-Abadi will discuss new strategic ways to combat the militant organization. Hammond says that the Iraqi forces have been helping rebuild a coalition against the Islamic State. He also says that it will be months yet before they are ready to start significant combat operations. Time is running out for Japan's government to make a decision regarding the recent threat from the Islamic State. The militant group released a video asking for $200 million or else 2 Japanese citizens will be killed. Japanese Chief Secretary Yoshilin Suga said that we are aiming to save them as soon as possible. Suga also says that they are unsure if the conditions the 2 hostages are in. Many Japanese citizens are unsure of what the government should do and fear for the lives of captives.
I know we should not yield to the terrorists, but those 2 men are hostages. They're such great figures when I look at their profiles on the newspapers. I just can't imagine that we truly have no choice but to watch them dying. I think all Japanese people are now struggling with this dilemma right now.
A big announcement has been made by a top U.S. general regarding the Ukraine crisis. Starting in the spring, the U.S. troops will be sent to train parts of the Ukrainian National Guard. A spokesperson for the Pentagon says that this action is meant to assist Ukraine in strengthening its law enforcement capabilities, conduct internal defense, and maintain rule of law. According to the U.S., the training was requested by Ukrainian officials. Ukrainian President Petro Poroshenko just recently accused Russia of deploying over 9,000 troops to the opposition. Violence continues to increase in Ukraine, where a constant battle between the two sides continue. As the fight against the Islamic State continues, Iraqi Prime Minister Haider al-Abadi says that not enough is being done. Abadi says the U.S. is holding back on multiple issues. Some of these key elements include supplying weaponry and training forces in Iraq.
We want to see acceleration of the training, acceleration of delivery of arms. We are fighting real war here against Daesh. We expect the world to build a bridge of support to Iraq.
Over 3,000 U.S. troops are being stationed currently in Iraq. The Pentagon is asking Congress for over $1 billion extra to help fund Iraqi troops, and the U.S.-led coalition has deployed over 1,000 airstrikes. Abadi says this just isn't enough. Gunmen, part of a Houthi rebel group, continue to surround the house of Yemen's President Abd Rabbu Mansur Hadi, holding him prisoner. The Houthis insist a change to the constitution and shared power. Hadi had decided to accept the demands, but the rebels continue to stay put on his property. A Houthi representative says that a complete withdrawal will coincide with the completion of the decisions related to the deal signed yesterday. The group is holding a presidential aid hostage as well. If the newest agreement is put in place, the Houthis agree to release the aid and depart from the president's home. In a video posted on social media, the militant group Boko Haram claims responsibility for the recent massacre in a Nigerian town that left hundreds dead. The man speaking says that this will not be the last of the group's violent attacks.
We're the ones who carried out the attack, and it's just the tip of the iceberg. There are more coming.
The man in the video claims to be Boko Haram's leader, Abu Bakr Shekau. The Nigerian army disputes this, saying they killed the actual Shekau. The militant group says they are fighting to establish an Islamic State in Nigeria. Boko Haram's attacks have killed over 10,000 people just last year. An achievement made by Kurdish forces in northern Iraq has caused a major setback for Islamic State fighters. Kurdish officials announced this week that they have cut one of the Islamic State's strategic supply lines. This area had previously linked the militant group from the city of Mosul all the way down to their stronghold in Syria.
The brave Peshmerga forces of Kurdistan have launched today a multi-pronged attack in the area west and east of Mosul Dam to clear it from Daesh. Thank God we managed to recapture the most part of the area. The Peshmerga force are now combing the area for remaining members of Daesh who are left with the only two options, either to be killed or to flee. They cannot stay in the area.
Airstrikes have helped pave the way for Kurdish forces to defeat ISIS-held areas in the past. Large open land and Syria's long border have posed as difficulties for Kurdish fighters.